What's up, guys? It's James from James Reptiles. I have in my hands a reverse Okatee corn snake. It's very light in color compared to the other one I have. This is about a year old, just under a year old female. I'm raising up a pair to hopefully breed them. I looked up a bunch of different corn snakes, and besides the Miami Okatees, is that what they are? Whatever the Miami phase is, this one and that one are my favorite, and these are the ones I was able to get a hold of. So this is what I got a pair of, and I actually paid $25 a piece for babies, which is pretty good. I've seen them go $75, easy, no problem. Kind of worried this one's a boy. If it's a boy, I'm just gonna have to wait till an adult female comes around, hopefully, because I really want to start breeding some snakes and some colubrids. But today's video isn't about him. He's just there for show and tell. I'm going to be talking about crested geckos and feeding them live insects like crickets. First off, if you're going to feed live insects, I don't really recommend anything but crickets. Dubia roaches tend to hide and get bigger because your gecko won't see them, and when they do that, they're eventually going to get too big and they might start chewing on your gecko, and that's just no good whatsoever. Unless your gecko tongue feeds every time, it's probably okay. Mealworms, it's not a good choice in my opinion, just because they sit there and they don't move and they bury, and if they get out, they're gonna turn into beetles and start breeding in your enclosure, and that's kind of not a great idea either. Crickets are easier. You're not really gonna see them breeding. They'll always be moving around, so your gecko will always have a chance to go find them if they miss them. And besides that, you definitely don't have to feed live insects. It's more of, if you're trying to breed animals, you want to get them bigger, faster, and it's not a sense of like snakes. What its term is power feeding, where you feed bigger meals, multiple prey items, more often, more days a week. You can't really do that with crested geckos because of the way they eat the powder food. You can offer insects more often, definitely, but you can't really force them to eat. It's just kind of that added protein definitely helps them when they digest that. They grow a lot quicker, and I've definitely seen this. They get a lot more growth spurts when they eat a lot of the calcium dusted protein insects and stuff like that, like crickets. If you're not breeding, you don't have to do that. You really don't. Your gecko will take a little bit longer to get full grown. Personally, I recommend doing it even if you're not breeding. I know insects, crested geckos tend to be a first pet, and insects can be the reason you got a crested gecko, so you don't have to feed it insects. But if you ever have the opportunity, definitely do. It's really fun to see. As soon as the crickets drop in the enclosure, your gecko will snap into hunt mode and go, and then it'll leap across the cage and catch it in his mouth as he's falling. It's pretty fun. You're gonna see videos of it. I'm going to feed all my crested geckos crickets. The way I feed is I spray and feed Pangea, or whatever the other one is. I don't know. I usually just use Pangea, Rapace. I usually just use Pangea, just because that's what's available to me at my local store. I usually feed and spray every other day. Unless I'm lazy, then I skip a day, but then I force myself to do the next day. But when I feed crickets, I always feed on the off day. Just in case, the gecko doesn't want to eat the cricket that week, it still has fresh food. For whatever reason, if I don't have crickets, they're not expecting it on a certain schedule, I just pick usually one off day every week. Sometimes I go once every 10 days, and that's just because I'm too lazy to go get crickets. But I'm gonna show you some clips of geckos eating crickets, and I'll put this beauty away. You can see by those clips, crested geckos are very aggressive when it comes to live feeders such as crickets. Whether it's the taste, the thrill of the chase or the hunt or whatever, animal instincts, it gives you another chance to dust and also gut load their food, which is just good all around for your animal. Once again, I recommend it. That's going to be it for this video. If you can't do it, you can't do it, but definitely give it a shot if you have the chance. I'm James from James's Reptiles. Like, comment, subscribe, hit me up on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, gmail.com. Have a good one.